Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Taurus in the month of December 2018. What's up, Taurus? How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Right off the bat, man, Merry Christmas if you guys are celebrating. Happy Hanukkah if you're celebrating that. And happy Kwanzaa if you are celebrating Kwanzaa later in this month. I hope your holiday wishes are all coming true. I hope you guys get some good gifts. Even if you're on the naughty list, I hope you guys get some good gifts. And if you're not celebrating anything at all, but, you're kind of just, in the holiday spirit, then happy holidays to you. All right. Anything else? No. Nice and easy with this intro. All right, Taurus, if you're a returning viewer, you know the deal. I've shuffled off camera to sort of save time. That's your main spread there. Shuffle now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all cards are out, that's when the reading begins. Timestamp is in the description box below if you want to go ahead and skip ahead. Also down there is information on how to get a personal reading with me if you feel so inclined. It's all down there for you. And if you have any questions, I should start saying that. If you have any questions about how a reading works or something like that, just email me as well and I'll answer your questions. I don't know why I've never said that before, but I feel compelled to tell you that. So if you have questions, go ahead and email me and we'll get in contact and all that good stuff, okay? All right, outcome for Taurus, December 2018. Outcome for Taurus. Boom. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. And let's go ahead and flip everything else and see what's going on in your life. Oh, I cut my nails recently. And now look at me. I can barely hold it. What is that? Wow, okay. I can barely pick anything up now that I've cut my nails. Ah, such is life. All right, Taurus, let's get into it. Please show me Taurus in December 2018. Where is Taurus in December 2018? Please show me. Okay, thank you. Here? Yep. All right, thank you. All right, Taurus, coming into December 2018, you come in as the Ten of Wands in reverse. I'll show you upright, just in case you're not familiar with this deck. Ten of Wands. And this is the Housewives Tarot deck, in case you're wondering. Ten of Wands in reverse. Oh, boy. So, for you, I'm feeling that this Ten of Wands is like, hodgepodge? Okay, sure. A hodgepodge. That's what... Maybe it's the deck. Maybe it's like the spirit of the deck. But I'm often led to like use kind of almost archaic language when I do my reading. So I apologize for that. But a hodgepodge. So like there's a bit of a mess going on in your life in some area, Taurus. A little bit of a mess. It's a little bit too much to handle. Much like the woman in the card. You've got a lot of things at your... not at your disposal, but a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak. And it's just, it's becoming a little bit much for you to handle on your own. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're like taking on too much onto your own plate and you're not delegating, or you're not asking for help, or people aren't offering you help, even though they see you're kind of struggling. So, so maybe, I don't mean to laugh. I'm not laughing that you might be struggling, but I'm laughing at something, a meme I saw involving the struggle. Anyway, so I feel, Taurus, that like it's two things. The situation is too much to bear, or the circumstances, the responsibilities are too much, and there's really not much you can do about it. This could be at your work. It could be, you're changing jobs, or a certain aspect of your job is becoming more intensified, or you've recently been promoted or something like that. And so you're just wearing different hats now, or you're having to expand your role and expand the work that you put out at your job, or work itself is just reaching this cumulative point and it's like super stressful. I mean, it is the holiday season. A lot of times if you're in the retail world or sales or any type of service job, that when this time of year rolls around, all of that stuff gets cranked up for you guys. And not just for those types of people, but for everybody, really. So the holidays, in terms of work, can just mean more things coming in, and you only have so many hours in the day. And so you're feeling like kind of pressed up against the wall. Your back's against the wall, you know what I mean? And if it's not work, it would be a combination of things. So it would be a combination of work and family, or work and school, or all three of those things, and work and your love life, whatever it is. Everything is just kind of piling on, like dog piling on top of you. And I said it's two things. So I feel for some of you, like a good portion of you, that's just the rhythm and the way of the season right now in December. It is what it is right now. It could be contained within the month of December or thereabouts, or it could be because of the holiday season, like I said, or it could just be that this has built up over months and months and months, and now it's like really getting cranked up. And I feel for a good portion of you, not all, or well, clearly not all, but not like a majority, but a good portion of you, it's out of your hands. You know what I mean? Like, you are not cutting corners. You're working as hard as you can. You're working as often as you can. You are in conversation with people. You're doing what you know how to do best. And, not saying that you're perfect or anything, but I'm saying that you're not skipping any steps. You're not half-assing anything, okay? Others of you, it's a lot. But for this group, it's a smaller group. You guys are also stressed. You guys are also overworked. You guys are also feeling this burden, feeling this weight on your shoulders, feeling like, you wish you had 10 more arms and like 4 more pairs of legs, you know what I mean? Or like that movie Multiplicity, you want to like have, another like a clone of yourself, like 2 or 3 clones of yourself, so you can get everything done in a day. But for this group, if I'm honest, you haven't done yourself any favors, because some of this could have been alleviated. And I know that's weird, that one group kind of gets absolved. It's like, oh, you can't help it, it's the circumstance. And others, I'm just like, well, if you had done this and that, then it wouldn't be so bad. That's how it is in life. You know what I mean? So, and that's only based on what are they trying to say? What are you trying to say? Choices, right. So, and this is also going to come down to your own personal perspective on your own life and your own behavior and choices. Of course, Taurus, I'm not here to judge you, and I'm not here to declare this group of Tauruses is great and this group over here is less great. I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're honest with yourself, if you take an honest look at your life and an honest look at everything you have going on for you, Taurus, some of you know that you did cut corners, that you didn't fulfill. If this is work and you didn't hit a deadline, and then that thing gets piled on top of the other thing that you were set to do after the first thing, you did that. Now, is that always your choice? No. But I hope you see what I'm saying. Sometimes, no, okay, fine. They're like, don't make excuses. They're like, no excuses. I was just like, okay. So in that case, where at your job, let's say, there was a deadline that needed to be met with a certain project or a certain goal or whatever. That deadline came and went. Your project wasn't finished. Whatever you were meant to contribute was not complete. That therefore pushes up against the next thing that was on your docket to be done. And for whatever reason, if they're being really rough with you. I'm letting you know they're being really rough with you. It's not me, it's them. But this is how I feel it. It's just like, no excuses, no excuses, no excuses. for some of you, and again, it's a lesser amount or a lesser number of you, it's like you had control, you had input into this. It was beyond circumstances, it was beyond seasonal, uptick in work or anything like that. It was really, you procrastinated, you dropped the ball, you didn't finish things on time, you didn't, whatever, you didn't. And they're telling you this. And it's just like, okay, I get it. And I think that for that group, it's not easy. I'm not here, I don't want it to seem like I'm attacking you. Please don't take it that way. They know it's not easy. You know it's not easy. The issue is other people don't know that. Okay, so we're getting to the reasons why no excuses. Is because Taurus, for this smaller group of you who had a hand in making things a little bit more difficult for yourself, is because you haven't really expressed how much help you needed along the way, or that you needed help at all. A lot of times, Taurus, this is just a general thing about you guys as a zodiac, you can be kind of prideful, you can be kind of stubborn. That's like your cliched characteristic, but it's true. You can be so stubborn, and you can be, well, I'll just do it myself, and many signs are like that. It's not just you. I'm not going to say anything. Anyway, so when you take on that mantra, and when you kind of conduct yourself that way, I can do it by myself, I might as well just do it by myself, nobody, you then kind of open up that door to more stress. And we all can be like that. You might have very good reason to be sort of this self-starter, go-getter, I'll just do it myself and then it'll be finished and all that kind of stuff. Some people do it because they're perfectionists, and some of you might be. Other people do it because they want to seem, like I said, like a go-getter, like somebody who can do anything, and they kind of have like this this image of themselves as being somebody who can handle anything. They want that to be like the perception of them. Other people do that, and this might be for who I'm talking to, do it because you've been disappointed before, you've been let down, you've been rejected or whatever, and you've just kind of have an issue with trusting, and you have an issue with being vulnerable to a certain extent, or letting your guard down and letting other people come in close to the inner sanctum of Taurus's world, and allowing other people to, lend a kind hand to you. It's just like foreign to you. You haven't experienced that in an authentic, genuine, very caring way. It's always come with like strings attached. It's always come and like bit you in the butt because something went wrong down the line, and then someone threw it back in your face or whatever. And it was just like too much of a hassle. So you Taurus, you're like that. You're stubborn as hell. But once you learn a lesson, you keep that lesson together, and you're like, oh, okay, so now I know not to trust anybody. And I get it. It's a defense mechanism. I get it. They're saying, this feeling that you have of being pressed up against the wall, or your back's against the wall, and being under gun or under pressure, under the gun, thank you, under pressure, all that kind of stuff, is because of whatever happened previous, with whatever situation happened before. You've learned or been conditioned or become familiar with just doing it on your own, with probably very valid reasoning, okay? Very valid reasoning. But, I feel that you would be encouraged to let go of that a little bit. Okay? And I spoke a lot about work. This is Wands. Wands can talk about work. If this is not work, like I said, I think it's like more than work. I think it's like didn't I say that at the beginning? A culmination. I feel like this is a culmination of things for you in your life, Taurus. It could be work. It could be family life, it could be relationship, it could be all of those things at once, or school, whatever it is. So, but they want me to go right? And they're like, go and talk about relationships. So in a relationship, Taurus, if you're coming up against a rock and a hard place, you know, things are just not going well with you and your partner, you're stressed, they're stressed, you're angry, they're angry, you have anxiety, they've got depression and anxiety, you know, woo. If that's happening and you guys aren't talking, you guys aren't actively working on it, like, again, let's pick this up. Thank you. Like, look at this woman. She's got a lot of stuff to do. She's dressed to do house chores, and you see she's got brooms, she's got mops and rakes and all that kind of stuff. But she's like not going about it methodically, smartly, intelligently, practically. She's not. This is impractical, Mary. You can't do all that stuff at one time, and you can't do all that stuff. I mean, you could, and a housewife back in the 50s might be expected to do it all by themselves, but there's something here that's saying, no, don't. So if you're, number one, if you're silent about it, and you just think your issues are going to go away in this relationship, no. If you are talking about it, but you're not doing it sort of in a methodical, sort of, no offense, but like a intelligent, smart way, you know, if you're coming, thank you, wands can talk about fire and emotion and passion, right? And that can be good, but you have this reversal right here, and you have a reversal up there too. We might talk about that next, I'm not sure yet. So there's this potential misdirection with your passion as you discuss things with your partner about how you feel, about how they feel. You might be, this is not a card of that, but that one might be. Yeah, Eight of Wands, we're probably going to go there next now that I've looked at it. There could be some arguments. There could be some tension. And, you know, it's not easy. I tell you that. I know that. It's not easy to have disagreements with someone that you love, with someone that you live with someone that you're married to. It's just not. So I don't want to make this like, it's just easy, Taurus, just go and talk to them about your feelings, but do it in a calm and collect manner. That's not real life for a lot of people. Some people come from backgrounds where they never learned how to properly process their feelings and put words to what their emotions are, and, you know, see what I mean? Like, someone, not necessarily you, could be your partner, it could be both of you. Someone might have an issue with thank you, we're getting there, with articulating what's going on. Yes, pick it up, they said. Fine. So your next card is the Eight of Wands in reverse. I'll show you this upright, just so you can become familiar with it. And again, in this deck, wands are represented by like brooms and dusters and mops and stuff like that. It's, again, the Housewives Tarot. I think it's so cute and kitschy. Anyway, so Eight of Wands traditionally talks about communication coming in hot and fast. And I find this one to be interesting because this woman, she's like riding the broomstick as if she was a witch. So it's like giving me like Bewitched vibes. But again, you've got this reversal. So there's this misdirection. There's this misguided feel to it. It's like you're doing it, but maybe it's not the best way. It's not the most effective way. It's not going to heed any result that could be positive in the long term. I don't want to make it sound like doom and gloom, but that's a lot of times the tarot is showing you what it is right now. Not what it's going to be, but what it is. And I feel like for you, Taurus, and you do have the triplet there. I haven't really looked at it, but I know you have a triplet there. So this might be defining what's going on right now as you watch this video, as December plays out in your life. And you might have some issues getting your point across, or you might have issues with receiving information and receiving communication from other people. If this goes back into the workplace, you might have some miscommunication. You thought that the deadline was Tuesday, and so you were like, okay, I'm good, I got till Tuesday. And they're like, no, it was Thursday last week. And you're like, what? How? And you're just like, not confused, but there might be like, yes, thank you. Because there's so much going on here where you started in the Ten of Wands, this feeling of being overwhelmed, this feeling of being under pressure, this feeling of being backed into a corner or caught between a rock and a hard place. So much of that intense, pressurized energy can get you confused, or can get messages confused. So you might read an email, if this is at work, from your boss, and read it and think that it came from someone else. And so you don't take it as seriously because you're like, oh, Samantha said blah blah blah, okay, I'll get to it, you know, not realizing, no, that email came from your boss. Like, something in your head just like kind of confused the situation. And then again, that adds back into this whole disarray that you're having in the Ten of Wands. If this is like a home situation, a domestic situation, a love situation, it would be very similar. You might read a text, and, you know, whenever we read texts, you know, we can't always tell the tone of a text. So you might be reading something from your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and you just like, you read it once and then you like toss your phone to the side. Who the hell does he think he is? And I'm not reading that, or I'm not dealing with this mess right now. And maybe you missed, like, ooh, sometimes people do that. You ever have people who, I do this sometimes too. Like, I'll text and I'll hit send, but then I'll send like an emoji or like an LOL after. So maybe that's what happened. Or, you know, sometimes text messages don't come through. You know, so maybe you get like part of a text, you throw your phone across the room, it's like, that's garbage, I can't deal with this right now, she's stressing me out, he's stressing me out, blah, blah, blah. And then you don't see the text that comes in right after, you know, that indicates that your partner was being sarcastic, or they were making a joke, or something like that. And so for the next 15 minutes, you kind of ice them out in conversation, or even the next hour or two. And that is just miscommunication, because the message comes quickly, and then also the reaction to the message can come quickly as well. So there's some troubles in the water for you, Taurus, involving stress that not only circumstances and other people put on you, but then there's also this, I feel, this stress that you're putting on yourself. You're worried. These two together in reverse like that equal worry, right? Equal worry. And here they go. I was like, why am I talking about this? Because okay. Anyway, I don't need... Anyway, here's what they want me to tell you. 10 plus 8. 10 of Wands plus 8 of Wands is 18. Break that down again. 1 plus 8 is 9. If that was the 9 of Wands, the 9 of Wands can talk about worry. And it's not here on your board, but they want me to talk about it. And I said this in other videos, and I'm going to say it every time, because it's really not it's not my primary way of communicating with the tarot, but they want me to talk about it. So whenever I do this, it's them. It's not really me. But 9 of Wands. If you're familiar with tarot, the 9 of Wands is the wounded warrior. It's the guy, he's got a bandage on his head. He has his weight on one wand, and there's 8 others around him, and he looks worn out. He looks exhausted. And he sticks with that position. He could go home, give up the fight. He could surrender. He could, just walk away, but he continues to do it. A lot of times that's noble. A lot of times that's very brave. But other times it's self-imposed exhaustion. You don't have to put up with that if you don't want to. You can go home. You can have some scrap of dignity and walk away from this. Not saying that's your situation, that you have to walk away, and that some of you might be contemplating that, but I'm not saying that's what you should do. No. Well, what they want me to say is the accumulation of these two cards together equals a lot of burden. And part of that burden, not all of it, but part of that burden can be released. You can let it go. You can walk away. You can ask for help. You can ask for an extension on the project, an extension on the deadline. But some of you might be, like I said earlier, too proud, too stubborn to go to your boss and admit, I fumbled the ball a little bit here, Tom. Can you give me till next Friday and I'll have it on your desk in the morning? Like, I will have it. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, you don't want to approach Tom that way. You are in a stalemate with your partner. You want to talk, but for whatever reason, you're afraid to broach that conversation with them. So you guys just keep going to bed without saying goodnight to each other or whatever. You're, having your passive-aggressive arguments over text message or whatever. And it's just like, if you let go of some of that pride, let go of some of that stubbornness, and for I think the bigger message is let go of that fear. God knows it's hard to let go of fear. I would be a part of FA, Fear Anonymous, because I also have issues with fear. But let me tell you, when you do it, and I've done it a few times, it feels good because it's out there. I admitted I need help. I admitted I don't know what to do to please you, honey. I don't know what I can do to make this right. I'm trying, whatever. I'm coming to you hat in hand. Let's work this out. You go to your boss. I'm sorry I dropped the ball last week. Can I get an extension? If I, blah, 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 blah. And you sell it. You lay your soul bare in a way. And Taurus, you normally don't have a problem with doing that. Okay, thank you. They're like, You don't have a problem doing that when you sort of know the outcome, or you are coming from not a position of power, like I am the dominant one. No, power as in like, you're not afraid of the no. You're not afraid of the negative outcome, so you just do it anyway. So in that way, you're kind of cavalier, you're kind of carefree, because you, like I said, if you're coming from a place of power where you're like, okay, let's say you were like out at a bar or wherever trying to pick people up, or, just online, shooting the breeze with people, whatever, wherever and however you pick up people. If you feel confident in yourself, you feel powerful in yourself, Taurus, you would approach a person and say, hey, I blah, 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 and you start up a little conversation, and then eventually you get to the chase. So I came over here, I'm glad that we're having this conversation, but I really did come over here because I found you attractive. Do you think you want to go out for coffee sometime? That's it. Now, if you're not in a place of power, of confidence, of stability, and feeling wholly yourself, Taurus, you would never do that. You would never do it. You'd be too insecure. You'd be too whatever. Afraid, essentially, because that's what we're talking about here. Fear. When you don't have fear, you will go and risk the hurt, risk the rejection, risk the no. So right now, you're in a place of a strange place of insecurity, vulnerability, feeling somehow unsure in some aspect of your life. Doesn't have to be overall, because for many of you, it's just one particular area of your life. For others, it's like across the board. So pick and choose which Taurus you are. So regardless how it plays out, there's just an accumulation that means you're stressed, you're anxious, you're tired, you're exhausted, and there's just there's a considerable amount of miscommunication and misdirection going on in your life somewhere, okay? Now, two things are happening on the outside here. One, some of you are dealing with water signs or Geminis, and this is a romantic, dating, whatever situation. And that person got their own storyline, and we'll talk about that in a second. Others of you, this is you, and you are putting on this facade. Okay? All right, so which one first? Ooh, lovers first? Yeah, lovers first. Okay. So the lovers card. Like I said, card of Gemini. So you might have a Gemini of significance in your life, Taurus, but you do not have to. It's really more about the message and the energy attached to the card. So this, in name sounds cool. It's a bright and shiny red car. These two look like they're having a grand time and they're super, super, super duper in love with one another. But, where's that car going? It's careening into the ocean. They're about to go into the ocean granted, it's a convertible, so that's good. So hopefully they could swim away, but it's still not, it's very precarious what these two people are doing. So the name, the shininess, and the happiness of the card is a little bit beguiling. It's a little bit of a ruse, okay? So you're dealing with, if this is someone external to you, Gemini or not, it doesn't have to be a Gemini, but this person probably looks good on paper, probably is a lot of fun, adventurous, a little daring, a little dashing, right? A little sassy also. But they're kind of going down, overboard. They might be overboard. So what does that mean? No, they're showing me clips from the movie Overboard. Oh, is that what you mean? Okay. It's a lot. Okay. So if this is a person outside of you, Taurus, if this is not you, you might have someone close to you in your midst, someone who might be adding to the stress. You know, like I said, it could be a person you're dating or married to, could be your boss, could be anybody. Doesn't have to, you know, the word lovers and the positioning here and all that stuff doesn't mean you're romantically linked to this person. It could be anybody. It could be your child, for God's sakes. But whoever this is, they're a lot of fun, but they're a handful as well. And either you or them feels like jumping overboard. Like, abandoned ship. Now, not in like, don't take that as in like a finality. Like, oh, abandoned ship, this relationship is over. Abandoned ship, I'm moving out. Abandoned ship, you're fired. It's not like that. It's not such an ultimatum. It's not such a, like I said, it's not a finality. But it is this feeling of wanting to escape. It's like they want to escape, but they lack the balls. They want things to change, but they lack the follow through. They want something different or more or better, but they don't know how to do it. So they might be a very charismatic person, but they might lack in practical skills or transferable skills. Sure. Something is amiss with this person. That's like the intent. No, well, maybe the intent, but what I want to say is the inside of them. I feel like that's sort of like a few layers down, you know, a few layers deep in in the lasagna. Okay, the outside of this person, the external projection of the person is the Knight of Cups. Qualities of water signs, so Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, but again, it doesn't have to be any of those signs. What is held here is that charismatic outward appearance. So all smiles when company comes over for dinner. All smiles when, you know, you get a Skype call from your parents back in Minnesota. How's it going out there? Oh, things are great, da 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 da. And then, like, as soon as the Skype call is over, I'm going out. Slamming doors and all that kind of stuff. It's like show and tell. What? Show and tell? What do you mean? Show and tell. Okay. So they're really you guys are reaching, but show and tell is like, as many of us can recall, show and tell. You bring something into school, like kindergarten or first grade or something like that, and you're like, this is my teddy bear. His name is Andrew. I don't know who has a teddy bear named Andrew, but whatever. And you tell about this thing that you know about. So this person might be sort of a know-it-all, or might be someone who's like really specialized in something and talks forever about like one subject. So this could be somebody who like is an avid sports fan, for example. Like they talk on and 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 on about the Cowboys, about the Knicks, about the Seattle Seahawks, whoever, whatever. And they just kind of unintentionally or intentionally just come off as like this know-it-all expert, you know, and that's rightly so. If you're like a huge fan of something, you usually know a lot about it. But sometimes this person, like, it's like their party trick. It's like the thing that they do when you go out to social situations. I'm going to go talk to so-and-so about this and that because it's the one topic I love to talk about, and someone not to say that this is a bad quality, but I think someone notices this. It might be you, Taurus. You might be noticing this of another person, or this is a quality in you that other people are noticing, and it's just like, ugh, there we go again. Like listening to this person talk about that one subject that they love so much, and they're going to talk it to death. And so, and you see like the kid, the young man, the Knight of Cups. Did I say king in the beginning? I hope I didn't. It's the Knight of Cups. If I said king, I apologize. But this kid here, the young lad on the card, you know, he's serving up champagne, and he's got this, I guess it's his date in the background, and she's kind of, you know, smelling the flower that we can presume that he gave to her. And he just is like, sort of like, he's all about that image. He's all about, like I said, the Skype call from Minnesota. Everything's great. Everything's wonderful. Yeah, the kids say hi and da-da-da. And we'll see you guys soon in a couple weeks for Christmas. Blah, blah, blah. We love you so much. Bye. And then the call ends and it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's like, woof, turn into Dr. Jekyll on you. And it's just like, what is this? So there's a little bit of a two-faced nature to this person. And I think it's, again, because how I was talking about sort of coping mechanisms or defense mechanisms or learned conditioned behavior, like how I was telling you, Taurus, some of you have learned to take all the responsibilities on yourselves, and you have this can-do attitude, and you just have this feeling of, I don't need anybody's help. That's because of something in your past, for some of you, that made you be that way. For good and for bad, you know, for better or worse. That's how you are. Same with this person. For good or for better or for worse, this is how they are. They look good on paper, right? The bright, shiny car, even though it's careening into the ocean. That's a lovely car. It's about to go into the ocean, but that's a nice car. So they're kind of like this, some spontaneous, but like this sort of, like they want to say like daredevil, risk taker. What's the word? Give it to me. Firecracker. They say they keep you on your toes sometimes. They keep you on your toes. And the irony here, Taurus, this is going to be very specific. The irony is they actually don't keep you on your toes. You know exactly what they're going to do before they do it. But I guess it's the timing of, ooh, is that it? Okay. So they have like a standard set of like reactions. Let's say they have like 5 standard reactions. And over the years, they've surprised you because you were in that getting to know them phase. And I'm talking to somebody specifically here, or some people specifically here, that have had a long-standing relationship with someone. I mean, you could still experience this within a year or two, but this I'm feeling is for somebody who has known someone for years, like a long time, okay? And this is an example. Say you've met them, dating, friendship, I don't care who they are. They could be your child, or you could be the child. And you've learned over the years, oh, this is the first reaction type. This is the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. And now you've gotten to know all of it, right? So now it's not necessarily a surprise. It's more of like a, which one will it be? Which version of my partner, which version of my parent, my child, my boss, whoever, am I going to get when I go home? Am I going to get when I go into this meeting? Who am I going to talk to when I answer this phone call? And that sort of is what keeps you on your toes. You're not surprised by any of the reactions or behaviors necessarily anymore. It's just what order will they appear in? You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird. And Taurus, you're definitely known for this. The thing that kind of is beguiling, or not beguiling, I'm sorry. The thing that's kind of odd in this dynamic is that the charm that they have, that Knight of Cups energy that they have, this aficionado, schmoozer, I'm going to go and chat with the boys about the Bears, and I'm going to talk about that for 5 hours, whatever. It still does the trick to a certain extent. With you, with other people, whatever. They can repeat the same story 20 times. You could hear that same story every time you guys go out. Every time you guys get on one specific conversation point, they're going to bring up that story. Well, that reminds me back in 97 when da-da-da-da-da, and then here comes the story. And you can say all the points to the story that they're about to say. But somehow, to you, to other people, this person is still engaging. This person is still entertaining with that conversation. It still gets people intrigued, And so it's interesting because this somehow adds to that whole mess that we talked about in the beginning between your 10 of Wands and your 8 of Wands. That person, that energy, that behavior, that language or level of conversation adds to your stress, your exhaustion, your anxiety, your depression. Not the cause, not the root, but definitely not helping. Definitely not helping, okay? Now, if this is all about you, don't apply everything I just said to you, although for some of you that might be the case. But if this applies to you, we're going to take it slightly differently. The Lovers would be, you're kind of in a situation where you would be best to leave something alone, but you decide to plow ahead, nose first into the ocean in that, what is this, assuming to be like a Cadillac or something. Because Lovers also traditionally in the Rider-Waite deck and other traditional decks indicates choice. Lovers, two people meet. Do we choose to link up or do we choose to walk away and go our separate ways? It's a choice between yes or no. Do it. Am I in? Am I out? You know what I mean? And a lot of they really want me to talk about this car going into the ocean. It's not the best move to unless you're like David Blaine or David Copperfield or I don't know, some famous Houdini or something like that. Unless you have like some escape plan, unless you are a professional and you've trained for months on how to escape a car that's, sinking into the ocean, you really shouldn't get in that car. You really should get the hell out and go somewhere else. So there's this element for you, Taurus. I don't think the choice is necessarily made yet, or the choice at least is not solidified. You can edit the choice, I feel. But whatever choice you have made or are making or are due to make or whatever, you can reverse it, you can change it, you can alter it, you can put it on hold, you can pause it, you can do whatever. But something about the situation, something about you, again, going back to this whole fear thing, there's something here that says, but the car is so bright and shiny. Like, look at the pretty car. The car's going into the ocean, Taurus, but the car is pretty. You're attracted to, in some way, you're attracted to the person, the circumstance, the conditioning, or the conditions, rather. In some cases, the short-term reward. You're attracted to it, even though it's, like, detrimental to you. So if this was work, let's remove this idea of like a person for a second. If this was work, you could be open to this new position and you took it on because there was more money in the door, like significantly more money coming in the door. Your paycheck's going to like increase a good amount. And that's nice. Maybe you can get yourself a bright, shiny new car with the new money that you're going to make. But in the long term, it's so much more stress. It's so much more anxiety. It's so much more of this. It might take you away from your home life. Your home life might be beautiful, Taurus, and this could all be about work. And if your home life is beautiful, but you have to now spend more time at work and to earn that extra money that you're earning, or to earn that extra money that you're now contracted to get, then your family life, in a way, will suffer or will alter and change. And do you see what I mean? So, yes, more money is usually very good. But sometimes it comes with stipulations, or it comes with certain unexpected. Wow, you took that word out. Like, what the hell? I hope you get what I'm saying. Like, it comes with unexpected problems, essentially, or unpredictable problems. Okay. The other aspect of this is, if this is you, Taurus, is the Knight of Cups. And this could definitely be you at like a holiday party in the office, schmoozing with your boss, schmoozing with the partners, you know, doing what you have to do to make a good name for yourself. And you're running that game. You're telling those string of jokes that, you know, get some rolling in the aisles because you're trying to impress people. So this aspect is a little bit more aligned to what I was talking about previously, where there's this projection that you're trying to give people. I want to seem this way. I want to seem that way. Therefore, I have to go into this situation and say these things, and I have to make these jokes, and I have to make these references, and I have to make sure that I talk to them about my idea about doing this, that, blah, 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 blah. Which is very smart. It's very shrewd. Excuse me. It's very savvy. Excuse me. And I'm not going to fault you for that. But what I would caution you to do is don't do it too much. Don't overdo it, or don't overplay your, don't overplay your hand if that's going to be your approach in a work situation. In a home situation, still don't overplay your hand. If you're going to schmooze and wine and dine your partner, you know, trying to make a connection with them, trying to get back on their, you know, on their good books, be careful. You know, don't overdo it too much. Yeah. All right. So I haven't looked at the triplet at all. Here it is now. What the hell is this? If you guys have been watching me for a while, I shouldn't say that. This should be more said to the people who haven't watched me. If you're new to my channel, sometimes these 3 cards come out. I usually only do 6 card spreads, but sometimes one position gets 2 cards, which ends up becoming a triplet. They usually tell either a separate story or a story that somehow informs what we talk about in the main 4. Okay? So in your case, Taurus, all reversals. That's interesting. Tell me more. What's going on here? Yep. Okay. So this is like backstory. I think this is giving context into these 2 cards. What's going on with your starting position and what's going on with that miscommunication or that misdirection. Unhappy. Got it. Sorry. They make me laugh at the wrong or I laugh at the wrong times. I'm one of those people, let me tell you this. I'm going to give you guys a little insight into who Jay is in real life. In real life, I'm one of those people who like laughs, not in stressful situations, but in situations that probably should be taken a little bit more seriously. Like, I would be a person who would kind of laugh at a funeral. And some people are like, never laugh at a funeral. I'm like, sometimes it's just ironic, and I would laugh. So I'm one of those people. So this, what did I just say? Unhappy, and then I giggled. I laughed because it was confirming. Like, when I make a connection, I sometimes get like a feeling, and the feeling I got gave me a little giggle. Yes, of course, it's unhappy. Look at it. So it was kind of like a duh, you know, moment for me. So I apologize if my laughing and all that kind of stuff might possibly offend people, but that's who I am, and that's how I read, so I can't really help it. But, so, unhappy. Yeah. Alright, here we go. First, out of that triplet, you've got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So, Pentacles dealing with Earth signs, Taurus, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, sorry. So this could be indicating yourself, Taurus. Oh, gosh, let me show you up right so you can become familiar with the card. Reverse, though. So the Queen of Pentacles, as you can see from the card, and if you know a little bit about traditional interpretations, especially from the Rider-Waite deck, the Queen of Wands is a boss. But she's a more subtle, calmer, more stoic boss than, let's say, the Queen of Wands or the Queen of Swords. I mean, all the queens and kings are bosses in their own right. Or in their own way, excuse me. But the Queen of Pentacles, I feel, is just a little bit more stoic with it. She's a little bit more steady with it, okay? And that's true. I still feel that energy here is true. But what is happening is a bit deeper down, like maybe even like to the center of the earth deep. There is something not fitting the bill of being a stoic, stable, steady boss. Something in you, in the situation, in the relationship is just like, not, thank you, here we go. It's not as altruistic as it seems. The Queen of Pentacles is a boss, like I said, but unlike especially the Queen of Swords or the Queen of Wands, this queen would be like undoubtedly caring, undoubtedly nurturing. She's very close energy to like the Empress, but of course the Empress would outrank this one. She just has it like that. I've got enough for me and you. Let's go. So if she's like ordering if she's ordering takeout, she's like, I got you. Like, this could be you, or this. I'm telling you the qualities that are normally present, by the way. So this is somebody who's like, hey, I want this. Do you want some? And you say to them, or they say to you, whoever says to whoever, someone says to the Queen of Pentacles, thank you. Oh, I would, but I don't have any money until Friday. I don't get paid till Friday. And the Queen of Pentacles is like, shut up about that. I got you. What do you want? Just point it out on the menu. I got you. This could be a dating situation. This could be friends. This could be spouses. This could be parent to child, child to parent. Sometimes that happens. Children end up being the parent of the parent, you know, or the child ends up being the parent and the parent ends up being the child. You guys know what I mean. And the Queen of Pentacles normally would just constantly have that energy about her. I provide, because she's smart, she's savvy. She's not going to offer that if she's only got like a $5 bill in her purse. She's not going to say that. She'll be like, okay, look, she'll share what she's going to get, but she's not going to get her something and you something. You see what I mean? She's not going to overreach. She's not going to overspend. She's going to always be within her means, okay? So that's normal for her. This reversal, again, something deep in you, the situation, the other person, whoever this is, I'm not super clear on that, is not that way right now. There's been a setback. There's been a dialing back. There's been a hesitancy or a total rejection of that energy. I'm not going to be giving of myself, giving of my time, giving of my money as easily as I used to. It's now going to be rationed out. It's now null and void. It's close up. I'm not a what is that? I'm not a pantry house. I'm not a soup kitchen or whatever. It's just the feeling is there's no more handouts. Someone is cutting someone else off, or cutting off, not necessarily cutting off like you no longer get money from me, or you no longer get this from me. It's more of like a cutting off the energy, that tenderness. Thank you. That tenderness, that feeling of wanting to take care of and to nurture and to be supportive is gone, or it's building to almost gone. Like it's two things. Either it's there and it's super suppressed and somebody knows it but they're not acknowledging it. That would be a very deep thing. That'd be more than just a tarot reading, okay? Anyway, or it's building, it's swelling, it's coming up to the surface, coming up from the center of the earth, rising to the surface, okay? And I feel it's within reason to have that be the reaction or the response, or, you know, the mood that someone takes on, or the mood of the situation or whatever, because for a long time, it was what I was describing earlier. It was open. It was willing to be supportive. It was, he was, she was, whoever. I don't know. Take your pick. Put your pronoun in there. But the energy was more open, more willing to, like I said, offer support, offer money, offer time, offer services, offer love, offer affection, whatever. That energy is, like I said, it's now this energy to not do that is being suppressed against someone's better judgment, against someone's best interest. That energy is being suppressed to absolutely say, no, I'm not going to help you. Someone might benefit from saying that, but they're not going to, or they're avoiding saying it consciously, subconsciously, I don't know. But it feels suppressed, blocked in some kind of way. Others, that energy is bubbling up, and it will get to that point if it hasn't gotten there already. Regardless of how it plays out, who it plays out for, what circumstance, when, I don't know. The underpinning of that, or the undercurrent of that, is these two cards. Oy, oy, oy. Death card and Seven of Swords in reverse. I don't know why I did. I might as well show you upright. But of course, it would be this way, so you could see it better. All right? But again, reverse, reverse, reverse. So, I think we talked about this last month in November, or at least sometime earlier in 2018, Taurus. You've been one of those signs. I feel like Sagittarius and Leo have also been some of those signs, in Aquarius for sure. This whole thing of death. I'm going to talk about death first. Death. Scary in name, but in concept, in tarot, it's really not that bad. Death is about change, transformation, going from one phase or state of being to another. You can equate that to actual mortal death, or you can use it in more philosophical, more metaphysical terms. I think this portrayal of death in this deck is kind of funny. It's aside from the word salmonella on the jar, if we didn't have that there, we might think, oh, that's just a jar of mayonnaise. Not well taken care of, but it's a jar of mayonnaise. And if any of you know anything about mayonnaise, or any type of condiment, really, it's best kept stored away until you open it. After you open it, you should probably put it in the fridge. If you don't do that, it's going to spoil, which is exactly what has happened here. The lid was kept off, the flies got to it, and instead of a nice jar of creamy mayonnaise, now you have a jar of salmonella. Now, I don't think that mayonnaise would carry salmonella from flies, but the point is, this jar, this condiment jar, if taken care of, would have stayed the same. And that's going to sound counterproductive, but hear me out. If the directions were followed to a T, things would have gone the predictable way. Mayonnaise would have been mayonnaise, would have been mayonnaise, would have been mayonnaise. You know, you put it in the fridge after you make a sandwich, it's all good. But somebody left it out on this little picnic table, lid off, flies have gotten to it, as well as, the bread, the tomato, the lettuce, the cheese. Everything here is just like gone to hell. And you've got this in reverse. And again, this is going to sound counterproductive. Remember, death is about change, moving from one way of being, one state of being, to another. So because the lid was kept off, because the flies got to it, this jar went from something fresh, something usable, to something poisonous and disgusting, right? That's a change. It might sound gross, but the point is that's a change. Something that, thank you. Something that was prescribed. Keep the jar lid tight. Put it in the fridge. Prescription. Do it this way. Buy the book. Follow the rules. If you do that, it stays mayonnaise. This is kind of a weird analogy, but please follow me. If you do what is not prescribed, if you go against what is expected, against what is thought of to be the correct way, then you change the situation. You change the mayonnaise into salmonella mayonnaise. It's weird because nobody's going to say, I want to be like salmonella. I want to be like the mayonnaise jar with salmonella. No. The point is, Taurus, and I'm glad I'm talking to you because you kind of are in charge of this. Prescriptive ways of being, prescriptive ways of operation. That's you, Taurus. Okay? You guys love some prescriptive stuff. You'd like things to be sort of... the rule book. You like a rule book. You like directions. You like things to be clearly laid out in black and white. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Done. You like that. You respond well to that. You kind of operate that way in a lot of ways. You know, you might have a few exceptions. You might have a few, you know, footnotes and parentheticals that say, except for in the case of when Taurus does it, then Taurus can do what the hell they want. But for everybody else, you know what I mean? But the prescriptive aspect of a job, of a relationship, of whatever we're talking about here, school, whatever it is, you like that. So what's the point of this? This being in reverse, coming underneath that Queen of Pentacles in reverse, says to me, getting away from the rule book was not done. Again, this is showing not the rule book. This is showing leaving the lid off, letting the flies have a picnic. That's not a part of the rules of how to take care of condiments. That's the anti-rule, right? But it's in reverse, so that's not happening. So there's this continued adherence to the rule book. This continued adherence to not transforming, to not making changes, to not letting go, whatever. That is what's making the Queen of Pentacles feel less and less and less like being a supportive, nurturing, open, and affectionate person. This is making her feel bogged down, burdened, pissed off, sad in some cases, or depleted. Okay, sure, depleted. Right? So I hope you follow that. It wasn't the best, but that's all they could give me was like, talk about the mayonnaise. I was like, okay. But you see what I mean? So your go-to move, follow the playbook, follow the rule book, is actually working against you, Taurus. And if it's not you, it is a general reading. It can be someone else. But whoever this Queen of Pentacles is, I feel it's going to be most of you. You gotta break away from that rule book, man. You gotta get away from that thing. You know, not forever. Nothing is forever. But for a little while. Because it's not serving you. To continue to hold on to the rules and regulations and that you're accustomed to isn't going to give you the change and the progress that you want. Okay? So something... I feel this is a little bit of like a backstory. So this might be what's happened previous. This might be over the first 20 years of your life. You know, now you're like 24, 25, something like that. And now you're thinking, oh man, I've been playing by the rules for 20 years. Maybe I should do something different, you know? Now next to it, you've got the Seven of Swords in reverse. So Seven of Swords, upright, looks like that, again. Hey, Dios mío. But in reverse, so, ooh, is that it? Got you. So, I feel that this... Put it there. Okay. Not changing. Right. So... Clean that up, please. Let me... Give it to me again. No more Mrs. Nice Guy? What? They're playing a song I've heard like a handful of times in my head. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. B. Oh, God. You can tell I need to go to bed soon. Okay. Okay. There we go. This is more like this. Okay. Thank you. So this is the connection, not that. Okay. Thank you. You guys. Anyway. So the Seven of Swords is a little bit feeding more into the Queen of Pentacles. Seven of Swords is, in this case, feeling like a very destructive energy. Aha, got it. And you're holding back from that. Got it. Thank you. Whoever the Queen of Pentacles is, this Seven of Swords, that destructive impulse, that impulse to say, F it, screw this, I'm blah, 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 like firing, you know, just shooting off at the mouth or doing whatever. There is this reluctance to let that through. Got it. Thank you. Ooh, is that it? Is that it? Because if the... Okay, so also, if the change, the transformation that is in sort of encouraged in the Death card, even in this reverse position, I feel it's being encouraged. I think if you did it, your inclination would be to have that energy also turned upside right. Right. And that can be kind of a nasty business with you, Taurus, okay? And I get it. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I get it. As a fixed sign, I get it. Because when the gloves come off, the gloves come off. Do you want these gloves to come off? Because these hands will come at you. And some of you, that might be literally what you're talking about. You're literally talking about, listen, if we want to take it there, we can take it there. And we can take it outside, and we can take it wherever. And I'm not encouraging this, but this might be an actual dialogue that some people are having. Or this might be your natural impulse. And for good reason, you're squashing that or holding that energy back. Because you don't want it to escalate to something so volatile, okay? If it's not to that point, and I'm not advocating this, but I understand. As a fixed sign, fixed signs can be very passionate and fiery, and very much like, oh, you want something different? You don't want this part of me? You don't want it like this? Oh, I'll give you the other side of this. And the other side of this is a whole different business. You do not want to get involved. Okay? So I get it. I get it. And I think that is what that Seven of Swords is about. As much as the Queen of Pentacles and as much as the Death card, I feel, are sort of vying for position to change, to not change, to be empathetic and sympathetic and nurturing, or to not be those things. All of that is also sort of blocking or not blocking, but behind that energy is this potential to just go off. Like the Seven of Swords traditionally is about sneakiness, it's about lying, it's about deception, it's about all this other kind of stuff. I'm taking this as destruction or vengefulness, being vengeful, being icy and not giving a damn, being a bitch and not giving a damn, being so vicious and just not making any apologies about it. Okay? So that is... I hope you guys know. Even if you're new to me, I hope you can tell. I'm not one of these readers that try to sugarcoat everything. I don't believe that every moment in life can be positive. Every moment that you live in life, you have to put a smile on your face and you have to greet the world with happiness. That's a good rule of thumb. That's a good thing that you should try to do as often as possible. But I know, due to circumstances, due to our different moods and different periods in our life, or different things that are affecting us, it's not always possible. And I feel that you want to avoid, you're in that mode of, I don't want to like be this person right now. And again, I'm not advocating going out and just telling everybody where to go and where to shove it and all that kind of stuff and giving people the business. I'm not advocating that, but I also know that sometimes that is what is bound to happen in life. It's just going to happen. The tide comes in, the tide comes out. The sun goes up, the sun goes down. You know, everything that can be viewed as a positive or like a more beautiful bit of reality or bit of life has the exact opposite. You know? Beautiful weather, ugly weather. Sunshine, rain and clouds. You know what I mean? So this is a reality of life that may or may not appear for you. Do you have control of it? Probably. So it's up to you to use your discretion on if you let that out, if you express yourself that way, how and when will you do it? I don't know your situation, I don't know you. I don't know the people involved. I don't know anything. So I can't advise you either way on that. But I'm just saying, I feel that that's there and you can use it if you want to. Whether you will or not, that's your choice, it's not mine. Okay? Now, your outcome for the month of December is the Ten of Swords. Lots of swords energy. Lots of wands. So you have a lot of dynamic masculine energy going on right now. A little bit of feminine energy. What does that mean? Masculine energy is go, do it, action, take action, be bold, be brave, be assertive. Feminine energy is like a lot more docile. It's a calmer energy. It's a more soothing and nurturing energy. It's energy that goes a little bit slower sometimes, but can still be just as effective, just in a totally different way. But you have a lot of masculine energy on the board, Taurus. So I feel this feeling of you want things to change or you want things to get done, and and some of you are on top of it. Some of you are in the midst of changing and making things happen and making things go where you want them to go. But that can be too much. That can be too much. So be careful. Because you don't want too much masculine energy. You don't want too much feminine energy. In my experience and my philosophy is life is about balance. Life is about melding the two opposites together and finding that cool middle ground, that equilibrium that mixes both in the proper proportions. Okay? Right now, you might have too much of something, too little of something. Okay? Ten of Swords, outcome. Pin cushion with the nice little pins in it in the shape of a tomato. I think there will be some more headaches coming your way, some more strife coming your way, some more annoyance coming your way, or something, or one big thing that's just gonna like be the sour cherry on top of the cake. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a good top off, it's a bad top off. It's just like, of all the things that could go wrong with this day, this happens. It's like one of the, how much worse could it have gotten? Well, life gave me this, so apparently that's how much worse. It's kind of the feeling. It's like, oh, I thought I was over this, or I thought this was diminishing. I thought I was going to be able to work around this, but then this other thing came and it became another obligation or another thing on top of the mountain of responsibilities or things I have on my calendar. Now I have this other thing I have to put on my calendar. So it's just more of it. Okay, like these pins, you could look at it either way, but the way they're driving me to look at it is that pin in the hand is going into the pin cushion. It's not coming out, it's going in. So there's more being added. And if you've seen me use this deck before, I haven't used it in a while, I can read it the other way. But they're saying in, stab in, point in. So there's more coming. You have my sympathies, man. You have my sympathies, okay? It's not going to be easy, but at the same time, it's kind of like you can get through. You're prepared. You're aware of, or you're somehow expecting it. And there might be a slight silver lining in that. But I'm not going to lie. It's not the best for an outcome. It's just not. Your overall energy for the month is the Eight of Swords. So this is like really, to me, a very quick and easy overall energy. Look at what's on that card. A woman tied to an entree in an appetizer skewer or whatever, or hors d'oeuvres skewer, right? She's tied to that thing. What is that? Olives and bacon? Ugh. To the olives, yay to the bacon. But anyway. And she's trapped there. She feels trapped there. Well, not even she feels. She is. Like, more than the other Eight of Swords, how it's traditionally depicted, this person is, like, absolutely tied to this situation. So, I think that kind of solidifies or drives home what I believe many of you are feeling like. I'm just stuck here. I've made my bed, or the bed has been made for me and now I have to lie in it. However way you want to think of that in cliched terms, you just feel this is my lot. This is where I am. This is what I have to deal with. And it's not easy to navigate this. A lot of this energy, Taurus, is stuck energy. And that is the irony, I think, because I was just talking to you about masculine energy. Swords, 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 wands, wands. And yeah, these would be your feminine energies. Oh, lovers, air signs. So yeah, a lot of masculine energy here, but it's a little haywire. It's a little misguided. It's a little misdirected. It's a little off the wall, and it's not funneled. It's not being funneled in a constructive way. Some of you, this energy is pent up. You have the intention, you have the desire, but the output's not there. Others of you, the opportunity's not there. Others of you, the fear keeps it trapped. The fear doesn't allow it to be used purposefully. It's misguided, askewed, right? That's very hard to deal with. I do not envy you. So, I mean, that's your reading for December, Taurus. I wish it was a little bit better, but again, these readings are kind of just like snapshots in time. I'm doing this at the end of November. This might play out for you within a matter of a week, and then afterwards, it will be something else. But at the time that I'm looking at this, this is what's going on. This is what some of you are feeling. This is what some of you are dealing with. Despite that, I hope there was something here that resonated with you. If it did, please comment below. I'd love to see the feedback on these readings. It helps me kind of gauge how I am as a reader. And, you know, of course, I love being interactive with my audience and everything like that. So that's cool. If you liked it, like the video. That would be great. If you're subscribed, or not, excuse me, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, please. Share the video, all that fun stuff. And I will be back next month, January 2019, when I do your general readings, okay? I thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Bye.